Let's get real. When you hear the phrase, become a millionaire in 30 days, most of you probably roll your eyes. Some of you think it's a scam, a fantasy, a clickbait headline. And you know what? You have every reason to be skeptical. Because most people who talk about wealth focus only on the money. We're not most people, but we're not here to hustle blindly or chase vanity metrics. We're here to redefine what it means to be healthy. And that starts on the inside. Becoming a millionaire in 30 days isn't about some shortcut, secret formula, or overnight miracle. It's about stepping into ownership of your mindset, your courage, your actions, and your worth. This is about daring greatly. Daring to your life can change drastically when you show up fully, vulnerably, and unapologetically. You'll never become a millionaire with a mindset designed for survival. That truth might sting, but it's the starting point of transformation. Most people live their entire lives operating from a mental blueprint shaped by scarcity, fear, and limitation. We're raised hearing phrases like, money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are greedy. We can't afford that. Or, you have to be lucky to be successful. These messages sink deep. They root themselves into our subconscious until we believe them as facts, not realizing they are inherited stories, not universal truths. If you want to shift your external reality, the first thing you must confront is your internal narrative. The way you think about money, success, and self-worth determines what you allow yourself to pursue and accept. Becoming a millionaire in 30 days isn't about hustling harder. It's about healing the thoughts that tell you why it's not possible in the first place. It means peeling back the layers of doubt, guilt, and shame you've associated with having more. Because here's the reality, you can't manifest wealth if you secretly believe you're unworthy of it. You can't receive abundance if your core entity is still wrapped in poverty thinking. Rewiring your beliefs isn't a one-time mindset shift. It's a disciplined practice. You have to become hyper aware of your thoughts. Every time you say, I can't afford that. That's too expensive. Or people like me don't make that kind of money. You're reinforcing a limitation. You're creating a ceiling for your potential. Start observing your language. Not just the words you speak to others, but the internal monologue running constantly in your head. Is it empowering or limiting? Is it filled with possibility or laced with fear? The first week of this journey isn't about chasing strategies. It's about sitting down with your journal, your thoughts, and your history. Ask yourself, what did my parents teach me about money? What beliefs do I hold that keep me stuck? What emotions do I associate with being wealthy? Fear, guilt, insecurity. Then flip the script. Start writing the truth you choose to believe instead. Wealth isn't evil. It's a tool. Success isn't selfish. It's an act of leadership. You aren't greedy for wanting more. You're courageous for expanding into your full potential. One of the most overlooked aspects of wealth is self-worth. You will only allow yourself to earn at the level you believe you deserve. This is why some people can money temporarily and lose it just as fast. They never upgraded their identity to match their income. If you've been taught to equate struggle with virtue, you'll find a way to struggle, even when success is at your doorstep. That's the trap. That's the cycle. And it must be broken. We're not talking about surface level affirmations here. We're talking about embodied belief, the kind that changes how you walk into a room, how you price your work, how you speak about yourself, how you allow others to treat you. Millionaire energy isn't arrogant. It's growled, intentional, and unapologetic. It's not about showing off. It's about showing up every single day as someone who's done shrinking. Your environment also plays a crucial role in your belief system. If everyone around you thinks small, stays safe, and avoids risk, it's going to feel threatening to dream big. You have to be willing to outgrow some relationships and conversations. Surround yourself with people who normalize abundance, people who stretch your thinking, people who make wealth feel expansive, not impossible. If you've never seen someone like you become wildly successful, be the first. Be the proof. Be the example your past self never had. Neuroscience backs this up. Your brain is wired to protect you, not to help you thrive. It constantly scans for danger, even if that danger is simply the unfamiliar. So, when you start envisioning a life of wealth, your brain will resist. It'll whisper, be careful. Don't get your hopes up. This isn't realistic. That resistance isn't truth. It's programming. And just like any program, it can be rewritten, but only if you're willing to sit in the discomfort of change long enough to build a new default setting. This isn't comfortable work, but it's powerful. There's no point in chasing strategies, business models, or marketing twos, or if a core belief still whispers that you're not enough. You'll sabotage the opportunities before they bloom. You'll underprice your services, over-deliver out of guilt, procrastinate on launching your ideas, or stay hidden in the background while someone less talented claims the spotlight you were born for. That's the power of belief. It either builds bridges or digs ditches. It either expands your vision or shrinks to the size of your doubts. Belief isn't optional if you want radical change. It's not a feel-good luxury. It's the fuel. And the sooner you realize that a real wiring mind is the real $1,000,000 move, the faster everything else begins to align. Money follows meaning. That's not a catchphrase. It's a truth most people overlook in the pursuit of wealth. When people set out to become a millionaire in 30 days, they often focus on numbers, strategies, hustle, and external tactics. But what separates those who succeed from those who burn out is alignment. You don't need dozens of business ideas, endless products, or the perfect formula. What you need is one aligned mission, one vision rooted in who you are, and one offering that resonates so deeply with your soul that you feel lit up every time you share it with the world. When your actions are aligned with your deepest purpose, you become magnetic. You stop forcing things to happen and start attracting opportunities that feel like home. Wealth generated from alignment feels different. It's not exhausting. It's not filled with doubt. It doesn't feel like you're selling out or pretending to be someone you're not. Instead, it feels like you've finally stepped into the space you were always meant to occupy. Your message becomes clear. Your energy becomes contagious. People don't just buy your product. They bend to your authenticity, your integrity, your vision. Alignment means choosing a path that reflects your values, your passions, and your strengths, not chasing trends or copying at others or doing just because it seems profitable. The world doesn't need another replica. It needs realness. It needs people who are brave to lend another with their truth, even if it's unconventional. Because when you do that, when you share your real voice, your real pain, your real transformation, people feel it. They trust it. They want more of it. But alignment requires listening. It asks you to tune in, not just hustle harder. It calls for stillness, reflection, and honesty. It asks you to sit with your story, your past, your gifts, and ask, what am I true here to offer? It's not always easy to hear that answer. Sometimes the thing you're meant to do is the thing you've been afraid to admit loud. Maybe it's starting a brand round your healing journey. Maybe it's launching a course that teaches others how to do what you once thought was impossible. Maybe it's writing, speaking, mentoring, creating art, building a service, whatever it is. When it comes from the most honest part of you, it resonates at a frequency that money can't help but respond to. We've been taught that profit and purpose separate. That business is cold and creativity is risky. But that's a lie. The most powerful businesses today are the ones rooted in passion, vision, and deep service. People are no longer just buying products. They're buying experiences, values, and connection. When your business or mission is an extension of your true self, every post you make, every email you send, every product you launch carries an energy that is undeniable. You can't fake alignment. You can fake confidence. You can fake success on social media. But alignment is something your audience feels on a gut level. That's why some people with small followings make 6 figures in a month, while others with huge audiences struggle to convert. It's not about how many people see you. It's about how deeply they connect with what you're saying. That connection only comes when your message is real and aligned. Choosing alignment means rejecting the noise. It means not selling yourself out for quick wins. It means turning down opportunities that don't feel right, even if they look profitable on the surface. It means committing to a long-term vision of wealth that's sustainable, soulful, and rooted in service. When you focus on how you can deeply serve people, how you can solve their real problems from a place of integrity, the money follows. It always does. There is nothing more profitable than being fully yourself. And there is nothing more exhausting than trying to build success on a foundation that isn't true to who you are. You don't need to become someone else to get rich. You need to become more of yourself. Peel back the layers. Let go of what you're supposed to do. Stop following blueprints that were never made for you. Start building from the inside out. When your message, your actions, your products, and your energy are all in harmony with your truth, you stop pushing so hard. The work flows more naturally. Ideas come faster. Clients respond more eagerly. Sales become conversations. Marketing becomes storytelling. Success is a reflection of who you are, not something you have to chase endlessly. And the best part, alignment doesn't just make you rich. It makes you fulfilled. It makes you peaceful. It makes proud the life you're building, not just because of the numbers in your account, but because of the integrity behind every dollar. Waiting for perfect is just fear in disguise. That simple truth holds more weight than most people realize. The illusion of perfection is one of the most toxic traps standing between you and the life you say you want. People often claim they're waiting for the right moment, the perfect idea, the ideal conditions. But behind all that waiting is one thing: fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough, fear of being seen trying and not succeeding. But the path to becoming a millionaire in 30 days, or in any time frame, is not paved with perfection. It's built with messy, consistent, and courageous action. You don't need to have all the answers to start. You don't need to know every step. You don't need a perfect website, a perfect pitch, or a flawless plan. What you need is the willing next step: to move, to act, because clarity is born through action, not overthinking. The people who change their lives in a matter of days are not necessarily the smartest, the most talented, or the most experienced. They're the ones who do the work, even when it's uncomfortable, uncertain, or imperfect. There's something powerful out giving yourself permission to start messy, to launch something knowing it will evolve, to speak up before you feel ready, to post content that's raw and honest instead of polished and scripted. That kind of courage moves mountains. It doesn't look impressive in the beginning, but it builds momentum faster than perfection ever could. Momentum doesn't come from planning. It comes from doing, from testing, from showing up and learning as you go. Every step you take, no matter how small or uncertain, is bearing something bigger than you can see right now. Most people spend so much time preparing that they miss the window of opportunity entirely. They wait for validation. They overthink their next move. They waste precious time editing the plan instead of executing it. But the truth is, no one's coming to rescue you with a perfect plan. No one's going to give you a guarantee. You have to be bold enough to move without certainty. You have to trust that the steps you take, even the wrong ones, are moving you in the right direction. You won't build wealth by hiding behind research. You build it by experimenting, by launch that product, by sending that offer, by emailing that client, by showing up to that live session, by saying yes to the opportunities that scare and saying no to the ones that drain you. Your willingness to take messy action determines how quickly you grow. It's not about working harder. It's about being bolder. It's about taking up space before you feel qualified. It's about sharing your truth before you've mastered the art of storytelling. It's about standing in your power before one else claps for you. You will make mistakes. You will face setbacks. You will have launches that flop, emails that go unread, and posts that get ignored. But those are not signs to quit. They are signs you're in motion. They're proof that you're doing what most people are too scared to even try. You're building resilience. You're sharpening your skills. You're growing into the person who can handle success, not just wish for it. Because here's what people talk about: success doesn't come to the person who gets it right the first time. It comes to the person who refuses to stop her getting it wrong 10 times in a row. Every millionaire has a trail of imperfect actions behind them. The emails they almost didn't send, the offers they were afraid to price high, the times they launched too early, the times they felt awkward on camera, the times they risked embarrassment and kept going. What separates them from the rest isn't their results. It's their relationship with risk. It's their ability to act while scared, to show up while shaking, to sell something that isn't perfect and trust that it's still valuable. If you want to build a life of abundance in a short time, you have to fall in love with the process. Not just the highlights, but the awkward beginnings, the uncomfortable launches, the days where you're not sure if anyone is paying attention. Those are the days that build legacy. Those are the moments that shape identity. Taking imperfect action every single day is what stacks into momentum. It's what trains your nervous system to handle more. It's what teaches you to trust yourself. You don't become unstoppable by always being right. You become unstoppable by refusing to stop, refusing to let fear sit in the driver's seat, refusing to let perfectionism keep your gifts hidden. You'll never think your way into success. You'll have to act your way into it over and over without waiting to be ready, because ready isn't a feeling. It's a decision. Comfort zones never created wealth. That's a hard truth most people avoid confronting. We live in a world that constantly tells us to seek ease, convenience, and predictability. But everything extraordinary, everything life-changing, everything revolutionary exists outside that bubble of comfort. If becoming a millionaire in 30 days were comfortable, everyone would do it. The reason few people reach that level of transformation so quickly isn't they're not smart or capable. It's because they're not willing to feel a discomfort that comes with radical change. Stepping into a new level of success demands a new version of you. And that transformation doesn't happen in safe spaces. It happens in the stretch, in the moments where your heart is pounding, Your hands are shaking, your voice is trembling, and you still move forward. It happens when you choose courage over comfort, even when everything inside you wants to run back to the familiar. The truth is, you can't create a bold life while clinging to safety. You can't reach new levels while refusing to release old habits, relationships, or identities that were only meant to carry you so far. Most people think fear is a sign to stop, but fear is just energy. It's information. It shows up every time you stand on the edge of something that matters. And what you do in that moment defines everything. You either shrink or you rise. You either retreat to what to know or you expand into who you're becoming. The path to extraordinary wealth requires that expansion. It demands you lean into situations that mean and feel exposed. Speaking on stages, charging more for your services, owning your voice online, sharing your story, being seen in all your truth, and risking rejection. There is a cost to airy breakthrough. The cost is not always monetary. It's emotional, mental, even spiritual. You have to be willing to trade comfort for courage. That means feeling out of your depth, being criticized, facing self-doubt, making big decisions without guarantees, and waking up with a fire in your gut and a lump in your throat. These are not signs you're doing it wrong. These are signs you're finally playing big enough for it to matter. People often romanticize success. They see the highlight reels, the numbers, the lifestyle, but they don't see the emotional labor that built it. They don't see the nights spent wrestling with fear, the conversations that required radical vulnerability, the mornings where showing up felt like a adult. Becoming a millionaire in 30 days is not just about execution. It's about embodiment. It's about stepping into the energy of someone who leads with boldness, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. You will have to do things that scare you. You will have to say no to things that once made you feel safe. Meaning heart, you'll have to walk away from environments and people that can't meet you at your next level. You'll have to launch before you feel fully prepared. You'll have to invest before you're fully certain. You'll have to believe in outcomes that haven't materialized yet. That level of belief isn't rooted in logic. It's rooted in self-trust. And self-trust is only built by continuously doing the hard thing, proving to yourself that you can handle more than your fear wants you to believe. Comfort numbs your potential. It gives you just enough satisfaction to stay stuck. It convinces you that good enough is enough. But if you're still dreaming, still craving, still imagining something bigger, then good enough isn't enough for you. You were made to stretch. You were made to expand. That tension you feel when you dream bigger. That's life calling you into more. And answering that call requires bravery. It requires the willingness to let go of the version of you that fit inside the comfort zone and become the version that can hold massive success, wealth, impact, and visibility. The more comfortable you get with discomfort, the more unstoppable you become. Because when other people hesitate, you move. When others avoid risk, you lean in. When others wait to be chosen, you choose yourself. That difference in behavior compounds daily. It becomes your edge. It becomes the reason you succeed when others stall. The world doesn't need more people playing it safe. It needs more people bold enough to risk staying seen, risk being misunderstood, risk being wrong, because those who dare to risk, dare to rise. You don't need permission to be powerful. Meaning heart, you don't need to have it all figured out to worthy. You just need to be brave enough to feel the fear and not let it run the show. Courage isn't about not feeling afraid. It's about feeling the fear and doing the anyway again and again until your new normal is something that used to terrify you. Motivation gets you started. Discipline makes you rich. That's the heartbeat of sustainable success. While motivation is a spark, discipline is the engine that keeps the fire alive when the mood fades. When excitement wears off, when no one is watching, and when the results aren't showing up yet, anyone can feel inspired for a day. Anyone can show up when things are going well. But the ones who build real wealth, the kind that changes, lives in 30 days or less, are the ones who keep showing up when it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, or uncertain. Discipline is not about punishment or rigidity. It's about devotion. It's the daily decision to honor the future you desire more than the comfort of the present moment. It's the willingness to do what needs to be heard, even when you don't feel like it, because feelings are fleeting. If you only act when you feel inspired, you'll never build the consistency required for real transformation. The road to financial breakthroughs isn't lined with hype. It's lined with habits. It's paved with structure, with focus, with repetition. And the most powerful well-building strategy isn't some secret formula. It's relentless consistency in the fundamentals. Success isn't glamorous day to day. Often, it looks like sending emails no one responds to, creating content that doesn't go viral, staying up late tweaking a system, waking up early to stick to your plan, declining distractions, and making decisions that support long-term growth rather than short-term pleasure. It's the compound effect of 1,000 micro decisions that, on their own, don't seem groundbreaking, but when added tether, create something unstoppable. There's a discipline in how you manage your time, your energy, your focus. Millionaires don't just wake up earlier. They wake up with intention. They know what they're doing and why they're doing it. They don't scroll mindlessly through distractions. They guard their attention like their future depends on it, because it does. Your ability to discipline your focus in a world screaming for your attention is one of the most underrated superpowers in this journey, meaning can't afford to operate from chaos and expect clarity in your outcomes. Discipline is what keeps you grounded when your emotions want to run the show. It's what helps you say, I committed to this, even when it's that easy. It's what gets you to press publish on that offer, even when your confidence is shaky. It's what gets you to record that video, launch that program, send that invoice, show up, live, follow through on your word. Discipline isn't loud. It's not flashy. It often goes unnoticed, but its results are undeniable. Behind every powerful result you admire is a person who chose discipline over delay, who chose action over excuses, who chose structure over self-sabotage. And discipline isn't just about work. It's about who you're becoming in the process. It's about building the emotional resilience to keep going through discomfort. It's about creating a nervous system that can handle visibility, success, responsibility, and criticism. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't break promises to themselves. Because when you trust yourself to follow through, you move differently. You speak with conviction. You create with confidence. You lead with certainty. Discipline builds that self-trust. It says, I do what I say I will, no matter how I feel. You don't need more information. You don't need another motivational video. You need a rhythm, a repeatable structure that supports your vision. Wake up at the same time. Work on your goals and blocks. Limit distractions. Set non-negotiables. And follow through. Not perfectly, but consistently. Success doesn't come from intensity. It comes from sustainability. The people who build quickly are the ones who stay committed, not just excited. Even when results are slow. Even when doubts creep in. Even when they feel behind. They keep showing up because they understand that discipline is the bridge between desire and reality. You can want it. You can visualize it. You can write on your vision board. But if your daily habits don't reflect your goals, they remain wishes. Discipline makes the dream practical. It turns vision into systems, systems into actions, and actions into results. There is no shortcut around this. No one escapes the work. But when discipline is driven by purpose, when it's rooted in meaning and aligned with who you're becoming, it becomes less about grinding and more about devotion. You're not hustling just for the sake of it. You're honoring your highest self. You're building momentum that doesn't rely on motivation. You're creating results that are earned, not hoped for. You're rising beyond excuses. You're choosing to show up day after day with clarity, with commitment, and with a heart set on excellence. You can't build $1 million life within dollar mindset. That's not just a metaphor. It's a reality that shows up in your decisions, your habits, your self-perception, and your expectations. The truth is, we don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our identity. You may say you want wealth, success, impact, or freedom, but if your identity is still rooted in lack, in insecurity, in fear, or in playing small, you will unconsciously block the very things you claim to desire. That's why the most important work you'll ever do in your journey to wealth is the work of becoming the version of yourself who already has it. Every goal, especially something as ambitious as become a millionaire in 30 days, begins with identity alignment. You have to start thinking, speaking, acting, and moving as though your success is inevitable. Not someday, but now. That doesn't mean pretending. Embodying, it means asking yourself daily, what would the millionaire version of me do right now? How would they speak? What would they say yes to? What would they walk away from? What standards would they set? And then you show up accordingly, again and again, until that version of you becomes real. Not because the money landed first, but because your identity did. Wealth doesn't arrive and then change who you are. Who you are is what attracts and sustains wealth. That's why people who win the lottery with doing internal work often lose it all. Because while their bank account changed, their identity didn't. They still carried the same beliefs, habits, fears, and stories. And those patterns eventually pulled them back to their original financial baseline. True wealth isn't just about learning how to make money. It's about learning how to hold it, grow it, and steward it with power, clarity, and earnal maturity. That kind of capacity is built through identity work. Your identity is shaped by your thoughts, your environment, your language, and your repeated actions. If you want to uplevel your life, you have to uplevel all four. Start with your thoughts. What do you believe about yourself? Not on paper, not what you'd say if someone asked, but what do you actually believe in the quiet moments? Do you believe you're capable of success at this scale? Do you believe people want what have after? Do you believe your voice matters? Or are you still shrinking to fit someone else's expectations? Next, look at your environment. You can't grow in soil that stunts your roots. Are you surrounded by people who play small, who complain about money, who mock ambition, who settle for average? Are you consuming content that keeps you stuck in scarcity? Are your physical spaces cluttered, chaotic, or uninspiring? Your environment should reflect your next level, not your current one. Create spaces, routines, and connections that challenge you, stretch you, and mirror the identity you're stepping into. Then there's language. Words shape reality. The way you speak about yourself, your business, your goals, and your life matters. Stop saying things like, and hope, maybe one day, I'm trying, or if it works out. Those are not the words of a millionaire identity. Begin speaking with clarity and certainty and building. I am choosing. I am committed. I'm in the process of creating. This isn't about arrogance. It's about alignment. When your words match your future, your actions naturally begin to follow suit. And finally, your habits. Every action you take is a vote for the person you believe you are. If you wake up late, scroll for hours, avoid hard conversations, delay decisions, or say yes to things that drain you, you are casting votes for an identity that isn't ready for wealth. But if you make aligned decisions, keep promises to yourself, show up consistently, lead with intention, and pursue mastery, you are casting votes for the identity of a leader, of someone who earns at a high level, of someone who's not just waiting for success, but becoming it. You don't become wealth by changing what you do once. You become wealthy by changing who you are every day. This is deep, often uncomfortable work. It requires letting go of the stories you merited, the patterns you picked up, and the identity that helped you survive but can't help you thrive. It means grieving your old self while celebrating who you're becoming. It means trusting that you're worthy now, not when you hit the goal, when the money arrives, not when others approve, but right now, exactly as you are, in process and in progress. When your identity matches your income goals, there is no internal war. No part of you is resisting what you're creating. You no longer have to convince yourself, hype yourself up, or fight through doubt during mourning. You begin to move with ease, with grounded certainty, and with the kind of energy that magnetizes results. Because at that point, wealth is no longer something you chase. It's something you attract through who you are.